Hi everyone. So for my project, I did the Chabad of San Luis Obispo. So just a little background on Judaism. It was the first monotheistic religion, and Abraham is considered to be the father of Judaism. Abraham had to go through a series of tests to prove his devotion to God, and his last test was actually to sacrifice his son. But at the very last moment, God sent an angel to stop the sacrifice, and the tests were over because having put his son up for sacrifice, and even though he hadn't committed the act, but he was going to, proved enough of the devotion to God, and God didn't actually want him to sacrifice his son. So his son Isaac ended up having a son named Jacob, and Jacob had 12 sons that became the ancestors of the 12 tribes of Israel. So the Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt and were led by Moses for 40 days and 40 nights through the desert to their freedom. During the Exodus, Moses received the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. The 10 Commandments are the 10 biblical laws of the Jewish faith. There are a total of 613 commandments, which are called the 613 mitzvot. Something interesting about the number 613 in Judaism is that the number 18 represents the Hebrew word chai, which means life. So anything that adds up or multiplies to equal 18 is considered to be a representation of that word chai, and it's a special number. So in 613 mitzvot, you can see this because 6 times 1 times 3 equals 18. The three main texts in Judaism are the Torah, the Talmud, and the Midrash. The place of Jewish worship is the synagogue. There are different kinds of synagogues for different Jewish denominations. There are many holidays in Judaism, but the high holidays are Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement, and Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. The coming of age event for the Jewish people are bar and bat mitzvahs. When a boy is 13, he has a bar mitzvah in which he reads from the Torah, and in the Jewish faith becomes a man. In certain denominations, a girl can have her bat mitzvah at 12 or 13, and she doesn't always read from the Torah. And in the Jewish faith, after her bat mitzvah, she becomes a woman. The first thing I want to talk about is the mezuzah. You can see the mezuzah here on the doorpost, which is where you would find a mezuzah in Jewish spaces such as synagogues or homes. The mezuzah contains a parchment scroll inside in which the Shema, which is a daily Jewish prayer, is written on. As you enter and exit the door, you put your hand to the mezuzah. So the Shema is as followed, and I'll say it for you in Hebrew while you can read the translation, but it's Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." And it's that reaffirmation of what you would see in the 10 Commandments of the Jewish God being the one and only God. So here you have an ark opened and closed, and the ark is what contains the Torah. The Torah is a central reference of Judaism. The Torah is completely in Hebrew, and every single one is handwritten by a Torah scroll, which is called a sofer. The Torah is written on parchment, which is made from the skin of a kosher animal, and it's written with a quill and ink. Because of these two factors, it's not allowed to be touched by hands because the oils on people's hands is quite destructive. So a pointer is used instead when the Torah is being read. The Torah is read in a really specific way that it's pretty much read out loud like a song, as if you were singing a song, and it takes a lot of practice to learn how to do it.
The person who generally will recite from the Torah is called a cantor, and if you listen next, you will hear what a reading from the Torah sounds like. So yeah, that's what reading from the Torah sounds like. I personally think it's really beautiful. And the reason it takes so much practice is because there is so much text in the Torah that it's pretty much impossible to memorize these melodies. So a lot of the times they are making them kind of on the spot, not necessarily making them, as there's a method and kind of like a routine to how certain words and letters are emphasized. But that's why it takes so much practice. And oftentimes when boys are studying for their bar mitzvahs, they're studying for over a year because they have to learn how to do this.
While the content of all Torahs are the same, the covers are very unique to each Torah. They're oftentimes donated in honor of a person or something, and usually by people who belong to the synagogue. The Torah is comprised of the first 5 books of the Tanakh. So this is a Siddur, and the Siddur is a Jewish prayer book that is used in daily prayer, and you'll find it in every single synagogue and even in homes. Hebrew reads left to right, so the book you would read and you would open in the opposite direction of an English book. It's composed of readings from the Torah with certain additions for certain holidays. But while those holidays, it's used in conjunction with other prayers and other texts. There are completely different books used for high holidays, such as the Machzor, which is used on Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. So this is called a mechitza, and the mechitza is unique to an Orthodox synagogue. It serves the purpose of separating men and women. The reason for this is because there is a Jewish law called the Negiah law, which states that people of the opposite sex, so men and women, cannot touch except for family relationships and spouses. In other Orthodox synagogues, you will find 2 separate sections for men and women. So instead of a mechitza down the middle, you'll find a women's section that's completely elevated and in a different area of the synagogue. So this is a rabbi, Rabbi Chaim Hillel, and in this video, he's demonstrating what he would do before he begins his daily prayer. Rabbi Hillel is a teacher of the Torah, and he studied at a yeshiva, specifically at a Chabad yeshiva. And because he's a Chabad rabbi, that means he's part of a worldwide network of Chabad rabbis. So you can go to a lot of places in the world and you will find a Chabad synagogue. While rabbis do not technically have authority, they are often seen as a figure of guidance. And when people are looking for that guidance, they will turn to their rabbi. In the video, the rabbi is putting on a talit, and a talit is a type of garment that's usually worn by religious Jews, but it's used during prayer services. In a Orthodox synagogue, it'll be used by men during prayer services, while in other denominations, women can wear them as well. You'll find that in a lot of religious Jews, they will wear something under their clothing with 4 tzitzit, which are the 4 knotted fringes that you'll find on the end of a talit. Lastly, this is a video of the synagogue as a whole. It's a small space since it caters to a small town with a small Jewish population, even smaller Orthodox population. The synagogue's brand new. It's only been set up for 2 weeks. So before that, services were held in a different location. So thank you guys for watching.